So let's go now to talk about what is this knowledge and where does it come from. The Holy Womb Chakra knowledge is a body of teachings that was given to the world in 2007 by an Indian saint named Sri Kaleshwar. And it's part of a much larger body of knowledge called the ancient palm leaf knowledge. That is knowledge that was given to the creation by the Divine Mother, the beginning of the creation cycle, to the Saptarishis, the 7 original souls, who preserved that knowledge and taught it through lineage and wrote it on palm leaves, and it was passed from teacher to student for thousands of years and preserved. And this knowledge is a body of knowledge that is about allowing the soul to enlighten itself and become free inside of the creation. And also about how any individual soul can become a divine creator and change the creation. And it's especially active for where we are now in the creation cycle, which is something called the Kali Yuga. So it's near the end, but we are in the Kali Yuga, which is a time of darkness, but we're also at the cusp of a time called the Sai Yuga or the Satya Yuga, which is a time of truth and enlightenment and awakening. So the possibilities now for souls that want to awaken and get free is the highest that it's been in thousands and millions of years. So really actually amazing time to be on the planet in a human body, and it's a really amazing time to be on the planet in a female body. So those of you that are here as women, I hope that that's something you celebrate, and if not, I hope you're celebrating it even more by the end of this talk and feel really inspired by the blessing that you've been given to be given a female form and have the capacity to create like the mother creates. So I've mentioned this, and I'll just say again, we're going to explore what this means, but the Holy Womb Chakra knowledge is a small part of the ancient palm leaf knowledge, but a very foundational part, a very, very key part, and essential for anyone that wants to become a practitioner of it. And the Holy Womb Chakra knowledge is the mechanisms of how the Divine Mother operates. How does she create? How does the mother herself create? And how can we create like her? It's like looking under the hood of the mother's creative process. And when I say Divine Mother, that's a big topic. But for the purposes of this talk, the Divine Mother is the female aspect of God that created our souls. She's the mother of our soul. So we'll just leave it at that for now. So this knowledge is very new. There's other teachings out there that I'm sure are very valuable, but this knowledge was only released to the world about 15 years ago. It's been known and practiced before then, but it's been held very secret, extremely secret. It has not been available other than if you were a very close student in a lineage in India, really. But I will say that the most well-known practitioners of this knowledge are Mother Mary and Jesus Christ. And Mary used the Holy Womb Chakra knowledge and techniques. Over lifetimes, she developed her womb energy to be able to bring into and create the soul of the being that was Jesus. So his whole life and everything that you know and understand about him is Holy Womb Chakra technology. And that was done with the blessing of the Divine Mother, that Mary was given that blessing from her. So the fullest expression of what this knowledge can do is pretty unlimited in terms of the divinity that can be created. So let's take a step back and spend a little bit of time talking about what actually is the Holy Womb Chakra. We'll talk more about what it can do and what the process is and what the benefits are, but what is a Holy Womb Chakra? Here's a quote from Sri Kaleshwar. The most important process you can do is how to grow the womb as a holy place. On the planet, the womb means the most beautiful temple, the most holy place in your body, the most energy place in your body, the most clarity place in your body. Make that place holy. Try to make your womb chakra most powerful. So, a lot of us are familiar with chakras, and the way that Sri Kaleshwar is using the word chakra in this context is probably very close to the common understanding of chakra. A chakra is an energy center in the body, in the human body for this time. Animals have chakras too, but we'll just talk about humans for now. And it's an interface of the energetic and the material world. So chakras can have organs in them or be associated with organs, but they're independent. They're independent energy centers that have very specific functions in our energetic anatomy and how vibrations and energy come into us and are utilized by us and go back out into the world. So most of us, I believe, most people on this call are probably familiar with the 7 major chakras, which you've probably seen images of: the crown and the third eye and the throat and the heart and the solar plexus and the second chakra and the root chakra. So those are well-known and well-documented and well-explained chakras that sometimes people think that, oh, the womb chakra is just the second chakra. But actually, the womb chakra is completely new. It's not the same as any other chakra or system you've ever heard about. It's a energy system that exists but has been kept secret, as we said before. So the womb chakra is an energy center that is associated with the physical womb and located in or around the physical womb. And the womb is, of course, the place where life is created. The creation of anything new in this creation, in the 5 elements, has to come through a womb. No creation happens without a womb. Even Sri Kaleshwar used to say, even an avatar, even God wants to get born on the planet. He or she needs a womb. So there's many stories in the Puranas of Shiva or the mother herself or other deities taking human births, and they need a womb. So that is a metaphor, but it's also very literal. That it's not just the birth of a being, but any new creation, anything new that comes through the womb. So the womb is the place where new life is created and nurtured. And so the womb chakra is the creation center in our bodies. It's connected to the physical womb, but it's not the same as the physical womb. And in fact, if a woman has surgery and has her womb removed, it has 0 impact on her womb chakra because it's an energy center. So it's very, very important to understand, and it's a concern that a lot of women have. So it's when you can just rest easy that it doesn't impact the womb chakra, what happens to the physical womb. It might impact the heart, of course, if it's a difficult experience, but it doesn't impact the womb chakra or the power or the abilities of the womb chakra. So women have their womb chakras in their body because they have physical wombs. Men also have womb chakras, but they don't have physical wombs, so their womb chakra is in their mother's womb. Even if their mother's body is no longer in the creation, it's a soul energy, so it's connected to the vibration of their mother's soul in her womb. This is a very esoteric and complicated point about the womb chakra, so I'm not going to go into it anymore, other than to say that if there's men on the call or men listening later, this information is just as important for you. You just operate it a little bit differently. You operate it through your mother. So that's the womb chakra. And now I want to circle back around to the word holy. Why did Sri Kaleshwar call it the Holy Womb Chakra? Why didn't he just call it the womb chakra? It's because this place is the holy place in the creation. The womb is the most sacred place because it's where life comes from. And I remember as a young woman seeing images of ancient cultures, depictions of wombs, and the primal understanding that humans have had that this is sacred, this is precious, this is to be honored, and celebrated, and worshipped. And it's actually been the most common form of worship through human history, is the worship of the womb, of the feminine, of that energy. And it's been very deeply forgotten in our culture. And in fact, I was thinking as I was getting ready how in Chinese medicine, the name for the womb or the uterus is the Bao Mai, which means the sacred wrapper. And that's the medical term. So it's like you can't talk about the womb in Chinese medicine without acknowledging this is sacred. And, in India, the name for the womb is yoni, which also means a divine passage or a sacred temple, and is also understood to be intrinsically linked. A woman's womb, the yoni energy is linked to the Shakti, to the goddess, and that's just built into the language. So forgive me for saying this, so I don't mean to offend anyone, but I was laughing thinking, what, ladies, like, what if you went to your gynecologist and she said, okay, now this is going to be a little cold, I'm going to examine your sacred temple. And, it's just like, and I'm not insulting any gynecologist, thank you for doing your job and taking care of many, many wombs, but it's so far removed from the daily life, and it's just a loss to those of us who grow up in Western culture without that intrinsic understanding of the womb as holy, and of women as holy, and of the creation as holy, because another way of understanding the Divine Mother and the womb chakra and the energetics on a macrocosmic level, I've been talking about the microcosmic womb, but the macrocosmic womb is that this whole creation is the mother's womb. And our souls are inside her womb. When we're in a body in the 5 elements creation, we are like a baby inside the mother's womb. And we are being developed and grown literally by her over millions of lifetimes, but that she made our soul and she's growing our soul. And being in the 5 elements in the creation is being in her womb. And that the womb chakra is how the mother creates with soul energy. So first she creates us, and then she teaches us how to create like her. So holding that, can you all just imagine, like, what any individual who holds that in their hearts is truth, how that changes how we relate to the world and everything, and to other women. If we really hold the holiness or reclaim the holiness to ourselves, really, to ourselves, and to healing the deepest roots of low self-esteem that so many women carry, and unworthiness, if we can reclaim that true connection to the holiness of the womb, to me that's real empowerment. And so I just saw someone put on the chat, this is so needed. And Isabel, like, I'm with you. I mean, it's so needed. And really Sri Kaleshwar, who gave this knowledge to the world, he said it was so needed. I mean, he said the new age that we're creating on the planet will happen through the women. And I have laughed so many times in my heart with Swami because of my resistance and my belief systems to studying with a man. Really was what it came down to when and that what I didn't know at the time was he is the ultimate feminist on the planet. I do not know of a soul who has practically, but also in their actions and in their teachings, done more to lift the women's kingdom and been more of an advocate for the women's kingdom. So in everything he taught, he did that. But this womb knowledge is the crown jewel of how really the women's kingdom can lift themselves and empower themselves. So we're all inside this beautiful womb of the mother and being grown by her. But inside her womb, the microcosm of that creation is the individual woman's womb. So any individual woman's womb is holy in that same way that the womb of the Divine Mother that brought everything into this creation is holy. So I hope all of you will, whether you're familiar with that concept or not, I hope you will all spend some time deeply contemplating what you carry. And if you're a man, I hope you will spend some time deeply contemplating what the women in your life are carrying. So what it really boils down to is that if you want to be a creator, you need to understand the Holy Womb Chakra. And you need to have a strong, healthy womb chakra. And unfortunately, okay, so we've been in some very uplifting, inspiring things. We're just going to go a little bit to the shadow side of just talk about a little bit about what is the state of our womb chakras in the creation right now. Well, you all probably don't need me to tell you that it's not so good for most people. Most people don't have healthy womb chakras in our culture and in our world right now. And everyone creates through their womb chakra, so most people are creating more suffering. And you may have experienced this in your own life, or if you're a healer, observe that even really good people that are really trying have such a hard time getting out of cycles of suffering in their life. And mechanistically, we can understand that. And I'm going to give just a brief overview of the two main ways that the womb chakra is damaged. So the first way that our wombs get damaged is through our heart. You can imagine that there's just a superhighway between the womb and the heart. The heart is also a chakra. So we're talking about the heart chakra, not the physical heart, the heart chakra. So there's incredibly strong connection between the womb and the heart in all people, but especially in women. So women's heart chakras are also different from men's heart chakras. We also, in addition to having the mother's womb, we also have the mother's heart. So any of you that are a mother, you know what I mean. But women are more vulnerable to having their hearts disturbed because our hearts are just more sensitive to that. So it affects our wombs differently than men. But for both women and men, if the heart is damaged, there's a direct connection between the heart energy and the womb energy. So that heart disturbance directly affects the womb chakra. Another way that heartbreak affects the womb chakra is that our souls, which is the piece of herself that the Divine Mother put in us and is developing over lifetimes, is the energy that anything that happens in our life, our soul's energy is behind it. Nothing can happen without our souls. So our souls are the energy behind all our creation, but they go through the womb chakra to create. And the soul lives mostly in our heart. So if the heart is very wounded and damaged and broken, then the soul has to get through that wounded heart in order to create. And a very simplistic way of understanding this is if you've ever been or had a good friend that got out of one relationship just to be in the exact same pattern in another relationship or one job, and then that would be just the soul creating through that lens of that heartbreak and brokenness. So Sri Kaleshwar said, use different numbers at different times. That I'm going to stick with the high number that 90% of the world is suffering from heartbreak disease. And that is the main diagnosis. So in terms of problems, like as an acupuncturist, people come, we're supposed to have a diagnosis, just heartbreak. And it's the main diagnosis on the planet, and it's the main thing that as healers, as individuals wanting to be well, we need to address is heartbreak. And that being heartbroken multiple times can really crash a life or make it very hard for someone to come up from out of that suffering. And most people I know have been heartbroken many times. The worst heartbreaks come from intimate relationships, but we can also be broken in any relationship, friendships or family, work relationships. And some heartbreak is really severe. Like we know lives that are destroyed by heartbreak, depression, self-harm, and even suicide. That's all heartbreak at the root. Whatever the diagnosis, it boils down to heartbreak. Trauma, but it's more than trauma. It's a way of understanding trauma that's very specific to the chakra, to how it affects the energy of the chakra. So other symptoms of heart pain, which is heartbreak in our lives, would just be lack of inspiration, chronic irritability and frustration, unhappiness, dissatisfaction, not being able to trust others or open your heart and love when it's right to love, overthinking everything, not having any confidence in yourself or your own decisions, really like being stuck in your life in a chronic way, not being happy in a relationship but not knowing how to get out, not being happy in a job. And like these are actually can be understood as heart signs. And so the diagnosis would be heartbreak or heart pain, and the prescription would be to wash that pain out of the heart. So if you don't heal the heart, the soul is trapped inside that heart and will have a very hard time creating divinity and beauty in the way that the soul was made by God to create. At some point, eventually, the soul will create that. So why not make that now for all of us? So if you're wondering what it looks like to be free of heartbreak, it means that your heart is light and free and happy and not based on external circumstances. So the practice we're going to do together and that you can do is one that specifically washes heart pain. Because I figure, if there's someone here that's free of heartbreak and heart pain and in the clear, congratulations. But most of us still have a little residue that we can work with. So we'll circle back around. So that's one of the main ways. Actually, it's the womb chakra, but just when you're thinking womb, you have to look at the heart. Really, you can't disconnect the heart and the womb. They go both ways. So coming back around to how the womb chakra gets damaged. And that is a direct disturbance to the womb chakra. Now, this is a sensitive topic, and some of you will be so relieved and happy to hear this and will have been waiting. If you haven't heard it before, you've been waiting your whole life for someone to tell you this. And some of you might not like what I have to say but I'm going to talk about it because I just feel like it needs to be addressed directly. And it's a much bigger topic that we can cover in its entirety, but I'm going to just get right to the bottom line, which is that the womb chakra can be when you have sexual physical union with another person and the creation points touch, the karmas of our lives, what's in our soul bank account to experience, everything good and bad. And at this point in the creation cycle, we all have a lot of karmas in our bank account, are stored in the womb chakra. When you have physical union with another person, your soul attaches to the karmas that they have in their womb chakra. And the implications of that on an energy level are very, very profound. Because one is, most of us have our hands full just handling our own karmas and desires and handling those in a beautiful way. And once we become attached to someone else's, that can create a lot of confusion for the soul. What Sri Kalashwar said is the soul gets very confused and disturbed from too many partners, or just the wrong partners, just having relations with people that are not right at a soul vibrational level. So this is not a moralistic teaching in any way. This is 100% just the mechanisms of that energy and how it works at a chakra level. So this is not a teaching that sexual energy or union is bad. Actually, it's part of the teachings are that you can't be celibate to truly know the mother and to be enlightened, or at least not forever or always. That kama and desire and sexual energy are necessary and beautiful parts of a life. And in fact, in the way that the wrong relationship at the wrong time can damage the womb chakra, the right relationship at the right time with the right person is profoundly healing to the womb chakra. And you can develop unconditional love and really bless and support each other in one of the most powerful ways that two people can bless and support each other. So what constitutes right and wrong? I mean, it's at the soul level. And part of what purifying the womb chakra does is it helps you have that clarity. It purifies your desires so that you don't want to be in relationships with people that aren't right for you at the soul level or will cause a disturbance. So this knowledge is, I think, so important and not known and not shared. And in fact, maybe like a lot of what is put out as women's empowerment is maybe kind of directly in opposition to this. I'm all about freedoms of every kind, but I really believe that every woman and man should, as best as we can, have awareness of what some of the depth implications of sexual encounters could be in their life. So I recently spoke with a dear friend about this, and she's a child of the 60s, and her eyes are getting bigger and horrified, and I'll get to this at the end, but if you're feeling that way, if you're like, oh no, like I have had a lot of partners and I do feel like my womb chakra has really been disturbed, or I have been in relationships that I know weren't right, and it can be taken care of. There's a practice, the womb chakra practice. The first thing it does is it purifies the womb chakra and frees you and clears those old karmic entanglements. And it's a relief that you can't even describe until you experience it. So, but no, for people that are struggling with their own healing, even if, and this could be a relationship 20, 30, 50 years ago, it could be someone you were married to for 20 years that was just always the wrong thing. You finally got out of it, but your womb chakra didn't get out of it. Could be someone you spent one night with. It doesn't matter, and it doesn't even have to be that it was a bad relationship or a bad experience, right? It's very much an energetic connection that happens. So it's when we get connected to just that's a disturbance to the womb. And then that can, of course, that can affect the heart. So if the womb is disturbed, the heart is disturbed, and vice versa. So they go back and forth, and we just have to clear both out. And someone whose womb chakra is confused and disturbed and attached to all these other old karmas, other people's karmas, will struggle to be peaceful and happy in their life. So that's just the first level. It's just getting someone to baseline. But also for people that really want to work as healers, that want to be divine creators, that have ambitious visions about helping others or creating positivity and whatever that is in your life, you want your womb chakra free. You want your womb chakra free and clear and strong and ready to create divinity, which just gotta clear out the old energy first. And I want to say it's not that big of a deal, but it is. Like, this knowledge is so priceless to have and to be able to do. So let's talk a little bit about what the Holy Womb Chakra Meditation practice is, and then do it together. So what is the practice of the Holy Womb Chakra? What does that entail? Let's hear one more quote from Sri Kaleshwar, and then we'll talk about that. You have to know the creation point. The creation point is clearly hidden in the womb chakra. It's the seed, the spark of creation that is hidden in you. A clarity of fragrance is hidden in you, in your womb chakra. Yes, the channels are there, the possibilities are there, depending on how pure your womb energy is. If your womb chakra is very strong, you're a strong character who doesn't have an awareness of the womb chakra, even though they're doing a lot of sadhana, meditation, practicing a lot of formulas, they'll get stuck. So this is a practice to unstick the womb and to really help you know how to access this power that you've been carrying your whole life. And it's a body of knowledge that has both a philosophy. We've talked about some of the philosophies, so you're beginning to get a sense of the philosophy, and also lifestyle guidelines. So once you get your womb chakra purified, there are choices we make on a daily basis about how we handle our energy that helps protect us and protect the relationships that we're in from attaching in a negative way at the level of the heart or the womb. So I know there's people on this call that are long-term practitioners of the womb chakra, and I know to a single one that no one, once you start doing it, you can't imagine living any other way that inside that lifestyle of protection. And if you are blessed to be in a good relationship already, this will protect and maintain that relationship. So there's ways of approaching the world, ways of understanding relationship and the heart and creativity and lifestyle choices, really way of understanding creation, and how to be truly empowered. And there's also practices for how to take care of our hearts. This is about really taking care of our hearts and our wombs. And maintaining our energy and creating protection circles is another. So it's a lifestyle, but it also includes a set of beautiful meditation practices that are just absolutely blissful to do. They're mostly in the form of mantras, which are sacred sound vibrational formulas. They're encoded prayers in sound formulas that you do in a very specific way that have specific healing effects. So, for example, there's 8 mantras in the system. We'll do one today. We'll learn one today that's encoded with the prayer to wash the heart of any heartbreak taken on through intimate relationships. It's a 3-word mantra that has it's a little mantra with a mighty power to do. So all of the different mantras have different specific uses. So doing the Holy Womb system involves charging these mantras over time. So that involves doing a certain number each day for a certain number of days. And then once you've charged them, you can use them. You just use them to maintain your own life, keep your own, there's practices you can do as needed if heartbreak comes up. And there's also practices you can do to help others, either giving them healings or teaching them. And so there's also a yantra, which is a sacred geometry. That's what's behind me here is the Holy Womb Chakra yantra. So part of doing the Holy Womb Chakra meditation system is learning the yantra. And you draw it for yourself, and you also draw it on every moon as a way to maintain your womb vibration. So it's very beautiful self-care practice that you can learn. I'm especially partial to the yantra. I love yantras, and when I learned the system, my son was 8. So very first thing I did when I charged it was I drew a yantra for myself, and then I drew one for him. And he's 24 now, and I'm not going to go into all the specific healing techniques. It's huge. It's a lot. But I'm just going to share with you because it's my favorite and it's affected me so personally. Is one of the healing techniques of the Holy Womb Chakra system is that you can draw a yantra for a teenager and hang it in their room where they sleep, and it protects them from imbalanced karma energy. Karma is desire. So, can any of you imagine how your life might have been different if you had had the Divine Mother protecting you from your desires as a teenager and some of the stupid things you might not have done? I'll just leave it at that, like sexual or not sexual, like, wow. When my son, came of age and became a teenager, he's a late bloomer and he was cautious. But I can say that I overheard a conversation that he had with one of his friends when he was 15 or 16. And his friend was saying, are you interested in, any girls or dating or boys or, these kids today are very open to everything. Emery's just said, no, it just seems like a lot of trouble. And God bless that boy. He did not get in any relationships. And as he got into his 20s, I admit, forgive me that I had the thought, did it work too well? But it didn't. He waited, and when he was 22, he had a group of friends he'd been with since his teens, and COVID happened, and they were a pod, and then all his friends, except for one young woman, moved away. And then him and Ace were the pod. And after 6 months, they decided, you know what, we're going to start a relationship. So at 22, he got in a relationship with his best friend. And I have had a front row seat to one of the most mature and beautiful, heart-touching young relationships I could ever imagine. And 100% I'm attributing that protection that he was to his yantra. Because I never talked to him about it. I never said don't start too early. I let him figure that out for himself. And so it's the implications, and whether him and his current partner stay together, it doesn't matter. He's had such a beautiful start in his life, in his experience of his heart and his relationship. And his womb has been protected from so much trouble and heartache and suffering that most of us have had to spend years digging out of. And we can do that for the young people coming up. So when I was in acupuncture practice, all the pregnant women I worked with, and now all my friends, that's my baby gift, is they get a blessed womb yantra. And so there's dozens of babies out there and growing into teens, being protected. And the yantra has lots of other benefits, but for teens, that's one. And it works. This isn't the only case study. It's just one that's very close to my heart. So before we move to our meditation time, I just want to touch on a few of the benefits of doing this practice that I haven't really gotten to. Some are implied, but there's a few I haven't even gotten to mention. So, of course, we've talked about one of the benefits is washing heartbreak and old trauma out of our lives. And if you feel like you're carrying unresolved pain, this practice will help you. It really will. Another benefit of learning this knowledge, and there's a lot of teachings in there, is about creating sacred relationship. So whether you're in a relationship, not in a relationship, and would like to be in one, would like to be able to attract the right person in your life, would like to share good karma and really know unconditional love and have a true soulmate relationship, this will help you do that. Or whether you're in a relationship now that you'd like to grow and develop to be that. Or just in a good relationship that you want to really learn how to use the energies of the womb and the energies of physical union as a healing and blessing in your life. That's part of the teachings of this, which are just for the right person at the right time. It's very special knowledge to be able to implement, and very, very powerful creation energy to share with another and to use to bless people in your lives with. So healing heartbreak and creating sacred relationship. Also for just creating, like if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner or an artist or visionary or someone who has something to create in the world, this will help you with whatever that vision is, what your creations are. And also help you have a lot of divine support behind your creation and have your desires be purified so that you just have so much clarity about what to create and when and how to do that. The last two, there's more benefits, but the last two important benefits I want to talk about, we just didn't even touch on this, and a huge part of the system is about divine children and blessing babies and blessing mothers. And, the mother, when the baby is in the mother's womb, is such an incredible time where that mother can develop the child's soul and protect the child's soul. And so there's practices in this that mothers can do when they're pregnant, and also children that are born into wombs that have been purified will have different karmas. We all came through the perfect womb, and we all owe everything to our birth mothers. And this practice is also very healing for the relationship with your birth mother. For women and men, when you do this, the energy goes back to your mother's womb chakra. And I can't see everyone on the call right now, but actually, when I logged in, I started crying because my mom is on this call, and I just feel like part of the blessing and success of my life has been her love and support, and also knowing that doing this is going back and blessing and taking care of her means so much to me. And there's specific practices in this if you don't have a good relationship with your mother, how to heal that and how to open that channel. There's also practices for mothers to heal their children in the womb, and young children or children of any age. So this is a system for all mothers. New, old, young, any age. If you're a mother, there's so much in here. And just the understanding that the mother is the number one healer for her child, and empowering women and empowering mothers to know how to work with their children at the level of the soul. And the last piece that I think is implied, but I just want to say, again, circling back to something very personal, is that this is such a wonderful way to develop a closer relationship with the Divine Mother in your life and in your heart. And when we create like her, we become her, one part. And when we create with these special channels, she does notice us, and she does recognize us, and she does give her energy to us in a new way. And it's very personal, but it's very real. And I believe you could speak to anyone that has done these channels that would affirm that their relationship with the Divine Mother grew closer.